This is the tragic tale of the Skeleton King. To activate the Skeleton King, you must first talk to Odin in the town of Tristram. Approaching him, he says,
"The village needs your help, good master. Some months ago, King Leoric's son, Prince Albrecht, was kidnapped. The king went into a rage and scoured the village for his missing child. With each passing day, Leoric seemed to slip deeper into madness. He sought to blame innocent townsfolk for the boy's disappearance and had them brutally executed. Less than half of us survived his insanity. The king's knights and priests tried to placate him, but he turned against them and, sadly, they were forced to kill him. With his dying breath, the king called down a terrible curse upon his former followers. He vowed that they would serve him in darkness forever. This is where things take an even darker twist than I thought possible. Our former king has risen from his eternal sleep and now commands a legion of undead minions within the labyrinth. His body was buried in a tomb 3 levels beneath the cathedral. Please, good master, put his soul at ease by destroying his now cursed form."
A deeply sad tale for the townsfolk of Tristram. Seems best we get more information, so I head to Griswold, the blacksmith.
Whoa, what can I do for you? I made many of the weapons and most of the armour that King Leoric used to outfit his knights. I even crafted a huge 2-handed sword of the finest mithril for him, as well as a field crown to match. I still can't believe how he died, but it must have been some sinister force that drove him insane.
Outside of being a harrowing tale, it seems that Griswold has made him quite an impressive mithril sword and crown to boot, making him much more deadly.
"Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen. The story of our king, is it? The tragic fall of Leoric was a harsh blow to this land. The people always loved the king, and now they live in mortal fear of him. The question that I keep asking myself is how he could have fallen so far from the light, as Leoric had always been the holiest of men. Only the vilest powers of hell could so utterly destroy a man from within."
It seems the vilest of evils are at play here, and only Diablo could be behind the treacherous machinations that have befallen Tristram, devout and holy king.
Can't a fellow drink in peace? I don't care about that. Listen, no skeleton is gonna be my king. Leoric is king. King! So you hear me? Hail to the king!
Clearly Farnham is getting Leoric and the Skeleton King mixed up, so it's better to leave him in his stupor and try and find some information elsewhere.
"What ails you, my friend? The loss of his son was too much for King Leoric. I did what I could to ease his madness, but in the end, it overcame him. A black curse has hung over this kingdom from that day forward. But perhaps, if you were to free his spirit from his earthly prison, the curse would be lifted."
So we head to the ever-chipper Gillian, the barmaid, to see if she can shed any light on Leoric and his rule. Seems...
Good day. How may I serve you? I don't like to think about how the king died. I like to remember him for the kind and just ruler that he was. His death was so sad and seemed very wrong somehow.
Gillian's senses are intact of a greater evil at play, and maybe
over
there is
here.
more to be found out.
Look, I am running a business here. I don't sell information, and I don't care about some king that's been dead longer than I've been alive. If you need something to use against this king of the undead, then I can help you out.
We pay the 50 gold to see what he has in his premium items, which is actually a really decent mace, which are known to crush bone and are better against the undead. If I wasn't a mage, I'd be tempted to buy this, so
I sense a soul in search of answers. The dead who walk among the living follow the cursed king. He holds the power to raise yet more warriors for an ever-growing army of the undead. If you do not stop his reign, he will surely march across this land and slay all who still live here.
After commiserating with the townsfolk, we head through the town portal back to level 2, in which we see the Skeleton King's tomb, which is a square shown on the map, and it also is girt by 2 statues of Leoric himself holding his massive sword. Entering the tomb, we're greeted with,
"The warmth of life has entered my tomb. Prepare yourself, mortal, to serve my master for eternity."
We're approached by some burning dead, which have immunity to magic and resist fire, so luckily we have been equipped with a holy bolt spell, which we found earlier, making it much easier to down the undead. Although it seems that I, in my absent mind, speaking to the villagers, have not yet equipped any healing spells and instead have a full inventory, which is not going to aid us in our quest to kill Leoric, as he's quite a formidable boss at this level. So taking care of the corpse bow skeletons and the burning dead, we start to unlock each room piece by piece. The side rooms have a few burning dead in them and levers in which you can keep unlocking further portions of the level. After unlocking the 2 sides of the King's Lair, we enter the main part of the mausoleum, which you can see some tombs and graves, but also a bevy of skeletons come out of nowhere. And it's then that we are faced with the huge Skeleton King. Almost double our height with a sword to match his massive frame and armor, as well as still adorned with his crown. Approaching us, we tried to fire off as many holy bolts as we could, but clearly being underprepared, he will down you very swiftly. We head back to the main room to take out the Skeleton King once more. This time, we are much better equipped to do so. It's also worth noting, outside of his massive sword, which he swings with ferocity, that he can actually resurrect the dead. So instead of focusing on his minions, we have to focus on Leoric himself. Now, as shown here, I've kept to my distance and lucky to have Holy Bolt, as it's such a potent spell against Leoric, who himself is actually resistant to magics.
Rest well, Leoric. I'll find your son. I cannot carry any
Once
more.
felling Leoric, you will pick up his undead crown, which he drops every time. And you can use a scroll of Identify or see Decade Cane to identify, which shows that it is a lifesteal helm, and the lifestealing ranges between 0 to 12.5%, which is only visible in the wiki. It just says lifestealing in game, though it can be stacked with life leech weapons. The helm has an armor class of 8 and durability of 50. With that, we can head back to town. With that, you can clear the rest of the rooms, taking out the burning skeletons and also looting some of the chests and even the crucified skeletons, just to show how brutal that the Skeleton King is, that his own people have been crucified, one of the worst ways to die. So once you have all of the items and you're ready to go back to town, you can head to Odgun at the end to finish the quest.
The curse of our king is past, but I fear that it was only part of a greater evil at work. However, we may yet be saved from the darkness that consumes our land, for your victory is a good omen. May light guide you on your way, good master.
Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy this series. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to stay up to date with more Diablo lore, as well as upcoming series as well. If there's any other dark lore that you'd like us to cover, please let me know in the comments below. Until then, I shall see you next time.